Mute. Welcome everybody to Geekvice. I didn't push the right button. Hey, look at that. Technical difficulties already. I should push buttons. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 224, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph, that man's Kip, and if that's the only technical difficulty we have this episode, it will be a major shock to me.
We'll be way ahead of the curve then.
Yeah. Well, today's episode, we're going to talk about geek music. Kip wanted to geek out on music, and in pure Geek Vice fashion, we are jumping full feet into music and making ourselves look like music geeks. Probably not to the extreme that, other people do, but, like professional musicians or something like that make music. But we're going to be proving that the people, well, one of the first guys that you had on the list, he is definitely a music geek.
Yeah, and he's awesome.
He is amazing. I started listening to him, and I had actually heard his cover of Africa and before, and when you sent it, when you put that in the show notes, I clicked on it, I'm like, oh, I remember this guy, and I remembered that I really liked him, so I need to subscribe to his channel so that I can watch more of his stuff because they are really good. So
Yeah. I guess
yeah,
we're starting with Leo Mariccioli then.
well, I mean, yeah, we can, or actually, no, we should probably save him
All right, we can do that.
because I really want to go into the other two that you have in here. So you have Scandal and Baby Metal that I'm gonna guess are those like Korean or Japanese like metal bands?
They are Well, they're both Japanese.
Okay.
Scandal's not a metal band. I would just consider them a rock band.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. And
And not to be confused with Scandal from the 80s with Patti Smith.
oh no, this is way different.
This is modern day Japanese band. So I just wanted to get that disclaimer out of the
Yeah,
way.
so before and I I'm assuming all of these videos are all, well, they won't be videos. It's just going to be music on here, because I don't want to take the chance of getting our YouTube stream blocked any more than I have to. Um, but so we'll only have little clips of these things to keep us in the copyright safe areas. But all of these things can be found on YouTube, and we're putting links to them in our show notes for this. There'll be links to the specific videos that we're playing the audio from. So if you like the little bits that we, play here, or you like what we're saying about them, go check them out. Go click on those links. Go support those people, because they can't make more music if you don't support them. So let's start. Which one do you want to start with, Scandal or Baby Metal?
You choose, man. You're the one that had to listen to them. I sent it to you, so
Okay, let's start with Baby Metal, because we're gonna go
okay.
just straight off the deep end here. Um, this is what we're doing. We're diving in the deep end of the pool, and we're gonna swim back up to where it's normal and you can touch. Okay, that's what we're gonna do with this, and that's why we're gonna start with Baby Metal, because that is the flat out deep end of all of the music that we have on here. That is so off the wall, and I don't know what's like, the music really isn't all that bad. Like I could listen to it. What was more disturbing was watching the video. Like watching, and these are live videos. These were them on stage. Like, this wasn't like some, weird thing like Psy and his Gangnam Style, that was an edited music video. This was them on stage, and it was
What'd you think of the size of the crowd?
It was huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one that likes them.
No, you're not. And so the name of this song, we'll play the song, a little bit of it, and then we can kind of talk about it while we're listening to it. But the name of the song is Doki Doki Morning. Okay, so this is... first of all, this thing starts off with like super techno, and I know Kip can't hear this, but he's heard this before, so...
You're going robotic on me, man.
Oh, am I going robotic? That's not good. Hold on.
There you go.
Is that better?
That's much better.
Okay, then it's probably the video playing in the background. So, I won't talk for a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump ahead a little bit into some of this, because the chanting stuff let's just play a little bit here. Hold on. I got to play this. Listen to this for just a little bit, guys.
I left more speechless.
Okay, so you heard a little bit. That was only about a. That was maybe 20 seconds worth of their music. Um, I actually kind of like it. I like the music more than I like the vocals. Let's put it that way. So the
Okay, fair
so
enough.
this band, this heavy metal band, seems to have maybe a normal size like rock band or metal band instrumental part to it. It's a couple electric guitars, bass guitar, drums, the usual setup. But then it's got three girls um, that are out there dancing and singing along. And maybe it's the Japanese part to it. Like, it really almost comes off as like chanting. And to me, it kind of, I don't know, it's just weird.
Chanting, huh? I wouldn't have seen that coming.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because it's like they say the same thing over and over again. Like I mean, it doesn't. It's not like I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of metal music, especially not a lot of new metal. Because I mean, I don't classify. I don't really. I'm trying to think of like the closest thing to metal that I got. Drowning Pool, maybe.
Wow, that's an oldie.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't listen to a lot of new music, which is, kind of one of the things there. But, um,
Well, the reason I like it, let's just get
yeah,
into that.
let's go with that.
It's a mixture of the growly double bass metal music without the
Yes,
growly part. That's replaced by J-pop,
yes,
Japanese pop. Um,
yes. That's what I was looking for. Yes, that's exactly it. That's a perfect
yeah.
description. I should just let you do this.
So I like it because of that. Because it's not what you're used to hearing. And I've always been one of those people that if everybody comes to the table and says, I really like this, my first reaction is I'm gonna hate it.
Yeah.
So if it's different, I like it. But besides that, besides just wanting to be different, they are actually very talented. All the way from the backing band to the three girls.
Yeah.
And you can't deny their talent. They're actually, if you watch their live videos, Catch Me If You Can is a really good one to watch live because the band, they all start the video off playing solos.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Both guitar players solo, the bass player solos, and then the drummer solos. Really talented musicians. And the first time I watched this video, I'm thinking, I wonder if they're like, I can't believe I am playing J-pop music. They've been playing metal and all this other stuff, and they're like, now I'm backing a J-pop group. But the more I watched it, the more I realized this is a good gig for them.
Yeah.
They're playing sold out stadiums. They get to show their musicianship. They're very talented, as I said. If you go back and look, Doki Doki Morning is a different backing band than Catch Me If You Can and Give Me Chocolate and a few others.
Oh, okay.
So they started off with, I can't think of the first band's name, and then now they have the Kami Kami band. I don't know how you pronounce it. The first band, they all wear like the skeleton outfit.
Yes.
And then the Kami band, they are dressed like maybe they're angels or they're death or something. They're wearing white sheets. They got
Oh, yes. I did.
their
Okay.
face is all whited out with
Yeah.
heavy mascara and stuff, so they look like death, I guess. I like that band the best. I
Okay.
really love the drummer. Unfortunately, the guitarist, if you're looking at the perform, it'd be the guitarist on the left. He passed away earlier this year, which is a shame.
Oh, that is a bummer.
He was super talented, but that band is so good. just uber talented. And I just like the fact that if I'm cranking this song in my car, depending on when you're next to me, you're thinking, wow, this guy's really jamming out to some heavy metal music. Or you're like, what the hell is he listening to J-pop for? You know, it's this weird juxtaposition. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's definitely a blend. Like it is really it's really interesting the way that they fuse the two of them together and the way that it bounces back and forth. Like they I was listening to them and honestly I was listening to them while I was working the other day and I'm like these actually like I could listen to more of these. Like
yeah,
it's I really didn't have a problem with it, but it was when I started watching them that I'm like okay, this is just kind of weird, you know, because it's like the skeleton costumes and they all in white. You're just like, what is going on here? Like, I wish I
yeah. And
knew what
then
they were
there's these three
saying.
underage girls wearing short skirts, and
Yeah, yeah, and you
yeah.
know, bouncing around, and you know, it's just like it was. I so I have no problem with the fact that I don't understand what they're saying, but do you feel like you miss anything from not understanding what they're saying?
You know, I thought I would. I know there's a lot of American music out there that sometimes it bothers me that I can't understand what the singer said. Uh, we
Yeah,
all have those songs where there's a line or something, and they're like, I have no freaking idea what they said.
right.
That always bothered me, but for some reason, not knowing any of the words doesn't seem to bother me at all. And I think it's also better not knowing because I looked up the lyrics
Yeah.
for like Doki Doki Morning, and it's stuff like making sure you're cutting your bangs straight and getting on your makeup and all this other teenage girl stuff. It's like that's probably good. I don't know the words.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, look them up sometime. You'll be like, yeah, I'm glad I don't understand Japanese.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, cuz that would put a whole different spin on this thing.
It does. It really does.
Yeah,
But
well, and that's kind of what I was going to go with there was because like listening to some of it, it's like you wonder if it's like okay, there's got to be some kind of weird story that they're telling, you know, because American music is a lot of storytelling. Like
yeah,
it's and most music in general has a story that it tells in music. But like with this, you don't understand what they're saying, so it's like but you just looking at them, you think you can pick up the story just from watching them and you're like that is not like what you said there, not the story I was getting from guys dressed in skeleton costumes and three
exactly.
teenage, you know, girls in short skirts. Like
Yeah,
yeah, no, that's
yeah.
not what I was picking up. So,
So their story is they, I think, were chosen by the fox god. If you notice, instead of doing the devil horns, they do that looks
okay.
like a dog. It's
Right.
the fox god. Um, so
I call that the bowling dog, but you know.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, whatever it is, they misunderstood when they first, you know, they
Right.
weren't metal. They were just trying to imitate. So they came up with this fox god idea, and you kind of see like a fox head and stuff like that in some of the videos and things like that, but the words just don't match. I mean, there's one song where like one of the lead singer is like crucified kind of
Really.
and all this other stuff, but then you look at the lyrics and like I said, it's about you know making sure your bangs are straight and getting your makeup on and not being rushed when you get up in the morning and all this benign, you know, preteen goody goody
Like
stuff,
yeah.
and the rest of it is portrayed as dark metal, death, and all this other stuff. And
So in other words, it's like Ramstein crammed with Taylor Swift.
yeah, yeah. a younger Taylor Swift. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
before she started breaking up with all the boys.
Yeah.
It's I like it for that reason that it is two completely different worlds smashed together and it works. I don't know how they came up with this. I don't know what made them think of this, but it just freaking works for me. So, there's a video where they were on the Tonight Show, not the Tonight Show, whatever show it is with Stephen Colbert.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They did their song "Gimme Chocolate" on there, and before it starts, he's holding the album and he says, "I don't know what I'm about to see, but I'm excited." That pretty much sums up baby metal. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what this is going to be, but so far I'm liking it. So, and I found them by accident. I was watching uh, 80s metal, heavy metal, hair metal videos on YouTube.
Okay.
And then you know how sometimes well, not sometimes, every time you play a video, it changes your recommended.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that popped up. And I ignored it for a long time, like, what the hell's this Japanese crap on here? Because if you pay any attention to what they've got going on, they also have a band called Lady Baby, and that's a whole different thing. But I thought it was going to be something like that. And finally, I clicked on it, and I think the first video I watched might have been Doki Doki Morning. It's like, all right, I can't tell anybody, but I actually like this. So I was like a closet fan for a long time. And then finally, it's like, hell yeah. And then one of my good friends, she is a lead singer for a rock band here in Kansas City. And we were talking one day because they were going to kick off 2018 tour in Kansas City. And I'm like, I hate to admit this, but I actually want to go to it. And she goes, so do I. Love them. It's like, oh, thank God somebody else likes them. Somebody I consider a legitimate musician likes them. Unfortunately,
awesome.
I didn't get to go because I had to travel for work.
Oh,
But I
dang
would have totally
work.
been there. I would have totally been there.
That
But
is crazy.
yeah, so check out Baby Metal. I mean, if you like metal music at all, I think you'll dig them. Even though there's not the growly voice and all that
Well, and
crap,
that's
which I can't stand.
yeah, that's one of the things that turns me off of metal music is
Yeah, me too.
the screaming and the growling. Like I don't like. There's just I don't know. I like the music part of it, but a lot of the time it's the vocals that really throw me off, and that's where this one it's like the vocals don't detract from it. It's almost just kind of a weird, like you said, juxtaposition. You know, it's you get going in one way, and then they throw the vocals in there, and it just changes the direction at which
Yeah,
your brain's working and
yeah,
keeps it
yeah. Normally,
interesting.
the heaviest thing I listen to is like Five Finger Death Punch. Occasionally, he'll growl, but most of the time, he just sings
Yeah,
with a raspy voice. And I'm good with that, but
yeah,
this just I don't know. It just brings a catchy hook with the J-pop, with the hard driving metal instruments that I love.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it just works for me.
So the next one that we got here is Scandal. Is this Scandal Baby? Is that the name of it, or is it just Scandal?
Scandal's the group. Scandal Baby is the name of the song.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah, it's confusing.
yeah, well, there's a lot of things in my life that are confusing. So you know,
Yeah, music might as well be one of them.
right? This I actually really like. Am I robot-y still? So I okay. So we listened to about 20 seconds of that one too, and I know Kip can't hear any of this because,
Nope, not a one note.
but we got a little bit of the music and a little bit of the vocals in that little clip. And I have a confession to make. My favorite part about anime is is the opening sequence and the song that they always put before it, because it's always really long. Like a James Bond movie, James Bond movies always have a really long opening sequence, and it's this big musical number that's just really long and really good music. Anime has that same thing. This Scandal is that. Like, it's that with rock. It's not, it's not the J-pop type sound. It's really more of an anime sound with rock music behind it, and I really like it. I really like this.
Sweet.
The,
I just discovered them 3 weeks ago. Since I listened to a lot of baby metal, Japanese influence stuff, they popped up in my
sure.
recommended. So I watched. I think I watched. I think it was Scandal Baby Live. I think it's the first one I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that caught my attention is these four women, very young women. I think they're all still in their 20s, play their own instruments.
Yeah.
Granted, you're not going to confuse the lead guitarist with Eric Clapton.
No.
You're not going to confuse the drummer with Buddy Rich, but they're very competent and they play well together. Their sound together is really great.
Yeah.
Again, can't understand a word they're saying. I don't care.
Yeah. No,
and I looked up the words to a couple of their songs. It's not J-pop, so they're not worried about how straight their bangs are. It's what mid to late 20s women would be singing about,
Yeah.
broken hearts and all this other stuff. So at least we can feel a little bit better about that.
Well, and that's always been the thing with like anime at the beginning of them. I mean, I don't know what they're saying in the title sequence to those shows, but you assume they're talking about the shows or something that's happening in the shows. I don't know. It could be nothing, but the music's really good. Like it's it's catchy. It's that tune that like when you start hearing it, you're like it sits in the back of your head and you can still hear it over and over again even after it's done. And then if you just hear like a glimpse of it, just in a small snippet, it all comes flooding back to you. It's like
Yeah.
just this 20 seconds that we listen to it here, or that I listen to it, and you guys, the listeners, listen to it. Not Kip, though.
Yeah, the guy who
Yeah.
likes the music didn't get to hear it.
Yeah, just that little bit brought back the entire, the 5.5 minute long live performance that I watched, and I have watched a couple times since then. It's like, it's just that good. That's my guilty pleasure is anime music. Is like that is something that if it comes on, I will stop and watch it just for that. I don't fast forward through the opening sequence of any of the
Okay.
Japanese anime. So
Well, at that aside, a little backstory on them. They actually started off in high school playing on street corners.
really,
Yeah. So this is an organic band. It wasn't, Backstreet Boys or something where a producer smashed them together and said, "Here we go."
sure,
They started off together. They're still together. They learned to play together, which is pretty cool. Which is kind of I would consider the American equivalent of a garage band making it big.
yeah,
Think the Strokes and Metallica and stuff like that. So I appreciate that part of it. I really appreciate the part that they play their own instruments. I think they write their own songs. They're gifted. They're normally, because the type of person I am, I would say something like, well, they're not that bad to look at, which is true, but I don't really care about that.
yeah,
I love watching live music, even if it's recorded live on YouTube. I just like watching it. I really like watching the drummer since I play drums. I like to see, how they do their fills and things like that. So I really like the live videos for that. And if you go back and look at some of the stuff they did early, You know, they all had straight black hair, wearing the schoolgirl outfits and stuff like that, and they looked very produced.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to maybe even 3 to 4 years ago, they just, I guess, finally just grew out of that and just dress like rock stars now.
Yeah.
They don't look so produced. They look like a band now, which I like that much better than the produced schoolgirl
Yeah.
Japanese fetish thing that they had going on.
I
But
agree with that. Well, and the video that's linked in the show notes is Scandal Baby Live 2015. So that was 3 years ago, and they've ditched at this point. They've ditched the schoolgirl outfits, and they just look. And I think that's one of the other things that I really like is they just look like look like rockers up there on stage. They if you didn't hear any of the music and you just saw this band performing, you would think it was just, it could be anywhere. You know, it it
yeah,
it's not a and if you took the vocals out of it, then it wouldn't even sound Japanese. Like the music behind it, the rock style that it has is, that's transcending. That covers any.
it's very American.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
very 4/4 time. Everything we're used to hearing on the radio.
right.
Um, but they're Japanese, and you can't understand a word they're saying unless you speak Japanese. Which, again, I thought that would bother me. It does not. Sometimes I'm so used to hearing the Japanese words that in my head I think I understand what she's saying, even though I don't.
Yes. Yep.
Because it's just I know the sound. It's like, oh, I could sing along to that, even though I have no idea what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking them out. Make sure you see the live videos. Japanese music videos are bizarre.
Yes.
The baby
Yeah.
metal ones are really bizarre. Just the music video ones, not the live ones. They're super bizarre. The scandal ones are more, like I say, the Japanese schoolgirl fetish type of videos, and I just don't like that overproduced crap. I like the live videos. So I recommend if you're gonna check them out on our recommendation, find a live video. Image Live is a really good video. Scandal Baby Live is a really good video. There's also another video. It's the entire concert in Osaka, Japan, and also in 2015. That just gives you a feel for what their concert would be like. It's pretty fantastic. I watched it last night instead of going to bed like I should have. And it's like, these girls are awesome.
That's cool.
Can't get
I'll,
enough of it,
yeah.
honestly.
I'm
Which
gonna have to
is,
check them out.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
check them out. I recommend them.
Yeah, and if you want to start on the path of checking them out, just check out our show notes. Right here on the YouTube channel, or the show notes for the podcast itself. We could put the links in there too. So
Yeah, I'll get those put in there.
yeah, yeah. All right. So we're gonna leave Japan behind.
Okay.
As sad as that is.
Reluctantly, we're leaving
Yeah.
Japan behind.
And we're gonna go to this guy, who has a studio. I'm gonna guess in his house that he does this from.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's like Norway or something.
yeah, and I'm that's what I was thinking too. So we're working our way back to the United States, but this is what's this guy's name? Leo
Leo Moraccioli?
Moraccioli? That sounds right. The YouTube channel of his is Frog Leap Studios.
Yep.
So look up Frog Leap Studios or check out the show notes for this. This guy did a metal cover of Toto's Africa, and I personally love Toto and Toto's Africa. Like, I don't know, I'm weird. There's things wrong with me, people. There really are, and there's just nothing you can do about it. I'm just always gonna have weird things wrong with me.
It is what it is. We all have it.
But
The
I like Africa.
Yeah, and if you're one of the people that geeked out on Weezer's cover of Africa, this is about 50 times better in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So okay, let's start there because Weezer's what what I geek out over when I listen to Weezer's is how similar it is, how much the same. I don't feel like it's that much different than Toto. It's
No, it's not.
it's really just a recreation of it, and I think that's impressive that Weezer can sound like Toto. Like, I mean, that's some talent that you're able to change your style because a normal Weezer song does not, something that's made Weezer famous does not sound like Toto. So that's impressive that they're able to change their sound to match Toto.
Yeah, to me, if you're going to do a cover, you want to have a lot of yourself into it.
Yes,
And I felt like Weezer didn't do anything to set their cover apart.
that's true.
And I don't mean to rain on their parade because it's very popular right now, but this one by Leo kicks its ass.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is, we get into this idea of covers. So the first two bands we had, though, as far as we know, those are not covers. Those are
Yeah.
original music, all their own. Um, Leapfrog Studios and a lot of the videos that he has up on his YouTube channel are covers. I know he did. He talks about writing his own music at the end, in the credits. So I'm sure he does some of his own music, but these are covers, and these are really like one of the other covers that he did on there was Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. He's turned it into a metal cover. Like all of his covers put it in a metal sound. And that's really, when you take something that isn't metal and you make it metal, or take something from one genre and put it into another in a cover, like, I agree with you. Those are my favorite kind of covers. Um, I wish I could remember the name of the band, but there was a band that did Gin and Juice in a bluegrass style.
Hayseed Dixie.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there that you could find, but um,
Well, what I like about Leo's stuff, and I highly recommend watching his cover of Africa first, because listening to the music, it's like, wow, this is really good. But the video for Africa makes that song even better.
oh yeah,
You
yeah,
get to see his personality. He brings in a couple of guests. It's
yep,
just a really well done video.
yeah,
There's some humor to it. There's musicianship to it. You get the feel. I can't say this for sure, but I'm guessing by the way the video is shot, he pretty much plays every instrument in the song,
yeah, yeah,
and he sings.
yep.
And wow, so it's pretty incredible. So watch his cover of Africa first, and then go to something else. There's some really good ones. I highly recommend Bad Romance that you mentioned. He also did Staying Alive by the Bee Gees as a metal song.
Oh really?
Highly
Oh,
recommend that one.
I'm gonna have to find that one.
There's a few that is like, oh, that's going to be great. And you listen to it, you're like, yeah, I guess it works. But there
Right.
are a few that you watch that and you're like, well, now I'm addicted to that song, damn it. I'm going to have to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I'm gonna play just a little clip from this, because I don't want to get in trouble. So take a listen to a little bit of Toto. Well, Leo's version of Toto, Africa.
I hear the drums echoing tonight, but she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation.
I could listen to that all night long. Yeah, I love it. It's so good. And he does do. There are a couple parts in here, like you and I had talked about. The one thing we don't like about metal is the gravelly, growly. There are a
Yeah.
few times where he's got to put that in there to make it that metal sound. Um, I'm okay with it because it's not the entire song. Like, he.
Yeah.
But I will
Yep.
also say I loved, especially with his version of Africa, where one of the guys he brings in shreds on the electric guitar, and it's just, I mean, that is amazingly good shredding. Like, that was just like, uh, I don't even have the words to describe it. It was incredibly done, and that is a talent that I can't play any instruments. I can't even play a piano. If I could learn to shred, like, that would be cool to me. Like, I find those guys to, like, they are just really cool. Chris Huey does Christmas songs in shreds Christmas songs. Those are freaking awesome. Um, I love people who can shred on a guitar. I just think it's cool. So the fact that he
Yeah.
included
Pretty cool.
that into a song that I really like, just makes me like it
Yeah.
even more.
Exactly. And he doesn't depart so far from the song that you can't tell what it is, which I like. He just plays it. He doesn't rearrange it. He just plays it as a metal song.
Yeah.
And like you heard a little bit on Africa there. That's just a small taste of how talented this guy really is, and his friends are. Um, I spent one day at work where I just loaded up a bunch of his videos on YouTube and just minimized the window, popped in the headphones, and just jammed for like an hour and a half.
Oh.
It was great. I'm sure my neighbors at work hated it because, I'm a tabletop drummer when I listen to music. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I found him like 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember why. The little thumbnail for the Africa video
Yeah.
has the Hannah, can't remember her last name, the guest singer.
Oh yeah.
Her picture is prominent, and I'm like, well, a woman singing Africa, this could be pretty interesting. And it's a metal cover. Hopefully she's not growly. And I clicked on it, and it was not her for most of the video until the chorus came along. It's like, oh, this is really working for me. And then of course I had to check out all of his videos. I went to iTunes. I bought his cover of Zombie by the Cranberries, which is also very good.
He did one of those too.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
good.
I haven't seen
And
that one.
in the music video, it's him and his wife playing bass.
Oh really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of his videos with his daughter,
Yes.
and he's
Yeah.
playing like he's playing along to the song like on his daughter's toy drums and
Yeah.
her toy guitar, and so he's throwing a lot of his personality in there, but when he's actually just playing the music, the camera shots, like you can see which strings vibrate when he's playing the guitar to see what strings he hit. I can't play guitar, so I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
You can see him doing the fills on the drums and things like that, and it's like I actually feel like I was at the studio watching this be put together. I just like his style of video editing, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right. Yeah. It makes the videos like easier to watch when you can see some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And
yeah.
as a mediocre musician myself, it's fun to watch somebody really talented.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you brought up the fact that he did a cover of Zombie by the Cranberries.
Yes.
I like I would have to say that I'm a I enjoyed that song growing up. That was kind of one of those songs that came out in the, you know, when I was younger, and enjoyed that one. But then when Bad Wolves remade that song and I heard it, um, I really like that version too.
Yeah, that version's very good.
And that's one that I find really funny because now I we played that song. It was playing in the radio on the radio or whatever. My kids heard it and they're like, "Oh, we really like that song." And then we played the original version, the Cranberries version of it, and my kids are like, "Yeah, I don't really like that one as much. Let's listen to the other one." Yeah. So but that's kind of the, you know, that's going to be a song that they're going to be able to carry through, and when it gets remade, they're going to have that same kind of thing. And so I find it, I enjoy when songs get remade. I know a lot of people, they complain when songs get remade the same way people complain about movies getting remade. I'm not against it, as long as you take the original, take the tone and the idea behind the original one, and you carry that through and give it its own little, put your own little spin to it. That's what
Right.
I like that. And if you can do it really well, you know, Disturbed did Sound of Silence that is freaking amazing.
Yeah, that one's very good.
So
But the Bad Wolves version of Zombie, they're more metal as well.
hmm
So I
yeah,
appreciated that part. But what I really liked is they adjusted some of the lyrics to match what's going on today.
yes,
Because there's the line with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns.
yeah,
I think they did with their tanks and their bombs and their guns and their drones, I think is what they changed it to.
right,
So, it's pertinent for today. And they talked about, um, I think they changed the date when she said it's the same old theme since 1916.
yeah,
I think they changed that to, I can't remember the date they used.
yeah. I can't
So,
either. But yeah, I do remember hearing that.
yeah, so they changed it not in a bad way. They changed it to be relevant today, even though I think it's still, with her version, it's still pretty relevant. And the way the video is shot, it's a total tribute to Dolores O'Riordan. She was actually supposed to record with them, and then she died like the day before she was supposed to meet up with them.
Oh, really?
I think it says that in the scroll before the song starts.
Yeah.
So they have an actress painted gold like she was in the original zombie video. No singing from her, but
Gotcha.
basically, I think with her smearing the gold all over the glass, and then eventually you can't see her anymore.
hmm
I think is pretty touching tribute to how much they miss that she's gone.
Yeah.
And so well done video. I recommend that one. Bad Wolves, the cover of Zombie. Highly
Okay.
recommend that one.
I will put that one in our show notes as well. I'm actually gonna do it right now. Um, and so we're talking about covers here, and we're running smack into time. Um, but you can't talk about covers without, or I can't talk about covers without mentioning one of my absolute favorite artist that does covers, and that is Postmodern Jukebox and Scott Bradley. These guys are amazing. Uh, they take all kinds of different songs, whether it's metal, whether it's rap, whether it's hip hop, whether it's a pop song, and they put it into a genre that it couldn't have been in because the genre didn't exist, doesn't exist now. Nobody's doing, big band type music from, the 40s. There's Nobody's doing that style of music anymore. and he goes and takes these songs that are current now and puts them in that style from the 1920s, from the 1900s, and throws it all together, and it's the lyrics are all still there. And honestly, you like you said, you get frustrated when you don't understand some of the lyrics. You go listen to them when when Postmodern Jukebox redoes them, and you start hearing words, and you're like, whoa, 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 was that in the original one? Because I'm pretty sure they didn't say that. And then you look it up like, oh, no, no, that's actually exactly what they said. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because that type of music is more vocal driven. It was, and it's really incredible. If you haven't seen them, if you haven't checked out their stuff, show notes, check them out. Check out their tour, because they are a touring group now, and you can watch their stuff touring. It Seeing them live, they are even better.
Does she sing all their songs?
No, nope. They
Because the
have different people for everything.
Okay, good. Because I watched the creep video that you sent me the links to.
Yeah,
Her voice is so soothing that I was actually just kind of I wouldn't say I was getting bored, but I was actually kind of getting lulled to sleep.
yeah, yeah.
And my first impression of this, you better not listen to this song and drive. In fact, if you get pulled over and you're listening to this song, you probably should get a DWI, because this song will knock your ass out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it absolutely will. But that's the part of it that I find so incredible, is that they were able to take a Radiohead, like, I mean, I don't know, what do you consider Radiohead's, like, ska type sound, and turn it into something that could, you could put somebody to sleep. You could just get them so relaxed and so soothed listening to her voice. No, and one that they do is another one that they did was Megan Trainor's All About That Bass. They
Okay.
they redid that one, and they have a guy that sings that song, and he actually is playing a bass cello, and so he's playing a stand-up bass, and it it's incredible. It is so fun, so fun. A lot of their covers, I wouldn't say a lot. A lot of the ones that I've watched usually end up having some sort of tap dancing number to them because of the time period at which they put them in. Which, if you like tap dancing, it works. A lot of the times it's not it's like a drum solo, or
Okay.
or something like that. It's a very short snippet of it in there that they throw in. But it's the time period at which almost all their videos are in some sort of like a black and white type
Yeah,
look
I
to them
noticed
too,
that.
because they didn't have color movies back then. Hell, I don't even think they had some of the dates at which they were throwing these songs back to. I'm not even sure they had moving pictures. But yeah, Postmodern Jukebox, definitely worth checking out. I recommend it. And one last shout out to go check out if you really like covers. I've got a podcast you can check out. It's called Coverville. Just go to coverville.com or do a Google search for Coverville, because there's only one. And this guy, the host is Brian Ibbett. He is the Coverville. He started this back in the 90s. He is the longest running podcast ever, because he is still going. And he's one of the first podcasts ever to get published. He doesn't do the covers. He does not play the music. He just finds them and puts them into a nice podcast. He pays the rights to be able to play the entire song. So he plays he pays a lot of licensing fees in order to play the music that he does on his podcast. But it is, if you like covers and you just want something to listen to, check out his podcast. I think he puts it out. At one point, he was doing it every day. I think he's cut back, and I think he does it like twice a week, but they're like 2 hour or 2.5 hour long podcasts.
Okay.
So it almost runs like a radio show, where he plays 2 or 3 songs, then talks about what those were, who the bands are, where you can find their stuff, then maybe talks about the next one coming up, plays a couple more songs, recaps type thing. So when you listen to his podcast, you feel like you're listening to a radio show. So it's really good, and it's music that you're not going to hear on the radio. That's the other thing. A lot of these people that do these covers, they don't get put on the radio. That's why you find them on YouTube, and you find them through different means. That's one way to get you exposed to covers and bands that you're not going to find otherwise. So go check them out, Coverville. There you go.
Do it after this podcast.
That's my 2 cents. You got anything else you want to throw out there on these guys? On all these covers?
These covers. If you have something off the wall that you listen to, send us a link. I would love to check it out. I find today's music actually kind of shitty. So it's nice when I come across things that are like Scandal, Baby Metal, Leo. These, I like seeing and hearing something that pleasant, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm tired of the overproduced crap that we get.
Yeah.
So if you have something off the wall, send it to me. I want to hear it.
Yeah. There you go. And you know where you can send it. You can send it at geekvice@gmail.com. Or, if you want, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/geekvice. Drop it right there. We'll watch it. We'll get notified when a fan puts some stuff on our page, but it is open. You can put content on there. So go do that. Go drop us some videos of stuff that you like, and that's probably gonna open it up, and we're gonna get all kinds of weird shit. But hey, I'm for it. Send some weird stuff our way.
Make sure you send Morph Lady Baby, because he's afraid to look at it.
Well, after this, when we're done recording here, I'm gonna go look it up, so I won't kill the recording. All right, there you go, everybody. Go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Go follow us on Facebook, like I mentioned before, facebook.com/geekvice. You follow us on Twitter, that man over there at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. Go check out the YouTube channel. If you're not watching this on YouTube, go check out our YouTube channel. Easiest way to get there is to go to our Facebook page. Go to a tab on the left-hand side, or you can go to tinyurl.com/geekvice. That does work, because I checked it. But
no more porn sites from us.
What always works is going to our YouTube channel. Always go there, and you're good to go. And then, of course, send us emails. Send us your videos. Send us your crazy covers at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.